Thanks for your company here on Joy News today. Now, the collapse of emergency medical services has become so alarming, some patients are compelled to fuel ambulances to convey them to referral facilities. In some instances, sick persons or their relatives have had to look beyond emergency services for transport. Presently, only 3 ambulances are in good shape in the region, with the rest rotting away at a garage at Ejiso. This came to the attention of Parliament's Select Committee on Health during a recent visit to the Ashanti region. Members of the Select Committee want healthcare managers to find innovative ways of raising funds to cater for their basic needs. Ranking member Dr. Kojo Apiakubi spoke exclusively to Joy News and told Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin more.
We are taught to see so many ambulances left to rot. As one of my colleagues complained, there might be just a small part of it which might be missing or which might be a failure in one of the vehicles. We believe that the health facilities could be innovative enough in solving some of these problems themselves. They shouldn't wait till the government brings in money for capital expenditure before they go in to buy those parts. They should also take good care of the things, of the ambulances that the government provides. I mean, you saw them yourself, and the site wasn't very good enough. No, so they should be innovative, and not allow things to go wrong. If you look at the bodies of these vehicles, they were in good. They could be seen to be in good condition. But then they were just standing, some with no ties. It might be just mere ties. And some of these facilities generate IGF.
So when you say they should be innovative, what exactly do you mean? What can they do to solve this challenge?
I mean, the government has entrusted a property into your hand. How do you ensure that the property entrusted into your hands are maintained? They need to have maintenance culture. They need to have a maintenance rhythms, and they need to ensure that, yes, if a vehicle is broken down, they should ask themselves, how then do we fix that problem?
It is all about money. Where would they get that to fix it?
They have IGF. I'm not saying they should go and buy heavy equipment. No, what I'm saying is that there might be, my colleague just said that a motorbike, it was just a small part which was broken down. And yet that motorbike was parked for so many years. Why? They could have fixed it with a little revenue from their own IGF. And that is what I'm talking about. When we went to the Ghana Health Service in Kumasi, the manager told us that he's been innovative enough to get more chips compound constructed. And he said initially the people of Ashanti region didn't appreciate chips compound till he sent the directors to learn from the upper and the northern regions. It was then that they appreciated what chips compound could do to enhance the health service delivery in the Ashanti region. And when they returned, they have managed to get more chips compound being constructed. This is one of the innovations that probably others could also bring about. So when we talk about innovation, we talk about thinking outside the box and not always waiting for the government to help you solve the problems that you are encountering. That's what we're talking about.
But isn't it the responsibility of the government?
It is the responsibility of the government to do everything. Even for some of the private things that we may expect in life, it is the responsibility. But then, what do you do in a case where the government is unable to provide you? You need to find ways of providing these services yourself and for yourself. That is what I'm talking about. If in times of difficulty, you need to be magnanimous enough to say, okay, how do I solve the problems that I'm faced with?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Away from that, implementation of the free senior high school policy will begin in September. The policy is meant to harness state-of-the-art technology to prevent fraudulent payment. Now, according to the Secretariat, their top-notch data live system will ensure The exact number of students who enroll in various schools across the country are paid for. Coordinator of the Free SHS Secretariat, William Dakwa, told Joy News on Monday he will be able to monitor every student who is enrolled, as they are enrolled in every corner of the country from his office. This, he says, will ensure there's nothing untoward when future payments are being made to the schools on behalf of the students.
We do have some students that they will go through all their 4 choices, but we won't be able to place them. These students, we're going to be giving them an opportunity, right, to give us additional choices so we can run the program again and be able to place them where they need to be, right? So after the first placement, the process that we are going through, take care of the ones that were not placed because because of their choices, they didn't get any school. We give an opportunity to give us additional so we can place them. And then the enrollment process will start, right? Which means these students will be able to print out the school and the information that they need. They complete those information, they take it to the school, and then the school will enroll them in. And this year we are introducing a new system, which we call the Student Information System, right? So each school will be sitting in the administration block, and whenever they try to enroll, anytime they enroll somebody, I'll be sitting here looking on the machine, and I will see that this school has enrolled one person. So we have the data live in terms of knowing how many people have been enrolled, right? Because we are paying based on enrollment. The initial reimbursement that goes out will be so they can get a school going, right? But the rest of the money, the bulk of it, will come after we have actually verified and ensured that the number of enrollment are accurate, that we are confident with it. Then we'll let the rest of the funds go.
Still in the education sector, is reading really alien to Africans? At least that's what some people think, and parents have therefore been advised to encourage children to read. The story is, however, different for some children in Accra Central who turn the public library into their place of abode each vacation. Despite inadequate books and lack of a functional children's ICT lab, the children simply love their books. Joy News' Joseph Akable spent some time at the library and now reports.
Not much noise can be heard on arrival at the children's section of the Accra Library. Children sit close to each other in groups and keep their eyes on their books. The library, which is about a quarter of a football pitch, has different books on its shelves. From novels to biographies, children have a lot to pick from. So first we can see the decks available at this side where these children seem to be enjoying their reading and learning. So table and chair, lots of books for them to study as well. But there's another section that caught my attention just when I was coming in, and that has to do with what it was supposed to seem like. It's supposed to be an IT section, so that side. I'm sure you can come closer for us to take a look at that aspect of the library as well and see. But even before we do that, there are still shelves, a number of books, shipwreck, eyewitness books at this side. You also see Winds Against Progress. It's very visible that some parts of the shelf in itself are empty, this side, this part, and also some other parts that all need the support to ensure that the books are provided in this area. So this is what is supposed to be the IT section. But interestingly, you can see clearly it is in need of computers to be used at this point. So the shelves are empty. It appears there's one and another at the other side, but both are not functional. She has manned the library for years. Her worry is more than just ensuring that children read silently.
Being a children's librarian is not an easy task. As a matter of fact, even though the children are in school, yet when you teach them, you will see that they are far below. For instance, some will come without even knowing how to write their names. Meanwhile, when you ask of their class, they will tell you they are in class 2, others are in class 3. So such a case, we find it very tough teaching them. We don't just look after them, we also teach them as well. And then we organize programs for them. So it's not an easy task being a librarian because we add the teaching aspect to it. They usually come on vacation. During the week school period, they come in the afternoon, and the number is not much. Sometimes averagely 30 a day. But during vacation, they come in their numbers around 60, 70 a day.
So I've joined some children here. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them actually are busily reading to speak to them. What's your name?
Aisha Madu.
Aisha, how often do you come to the library?
Sometimes when it's break, I come here.
Well, your school is close by.
My school is near a post office.
Okay, and how do you find the library?
Maybe if I'm coming, if I'm going home, I pass here.
Okay, so I'm asking, do you enjoy being in the library and reading?
Yes, I enjoy it.
What makes it fun for you?
The stories. The stories are more, and if you read it, sometimes if you read it, you get advice, and so.
How about the books in the library? Are there points where you come and you're looking for some books that you don't seem to find?
No.
You always get the books you need?
Yeah.
Okay, how about you? What's your name?
Lamti.
Is the situation the same for you? Do you enjoy being in the library, reading all these books? I see you are reading something about Tales from the Jungle book. The Jungle book is a book I've read before. That was like many, many years ago. Do you enjoy reading this book?
Yes. My friends said they were coming, so I followed them.
And since then, you've been doing that?
Yeah.
How about you? What's your name first?
Utara Sweet One. It's very enjoyable.
So there are other two very young ones. They are busily reading. Okay, so this one's own is a book. It says, Make It, I'm the Mother. A very interesting one. They're colorful books all being read here at the library. If you want to come, ring the bell. Wow. So very interesting books here, all made for the children here at the library. Empty seats around. You can see them. There are seats that are supposed to be filled, but it appears still more needs to be done to improve upon the reading culture.
Joseph Akable with that report. Still on education, at a recent meeting in Sunyani, the Conference of Directors of Education made various submissions to government in a communique. Among concerns at the 24th annual conference is the call for a reduction in subjects at the various levels of education. The Directors of Education also want government to address resource shortfall in schools. It comes ahead of the implementation of government's free senior high school policy. So how did they arrive at such conclusions? Kwesi Deborah sought responses from the immediate past Vice President of the conference, Alexander Atta Asante.
Being studied at the various levels of education should be reduced.
Why should it be reduced?
Yes, sometimes we have to look back. I was a middle school leaving certificate, graduate. During that time, the subjects that we were learning was basically numeracy and literacy. And to a large extent, even the exams that we took, we only did history, geography, mathematics, and English. And you can imagine, even look at me, I can perform to a large extent. It is not the number of subjects that actually would count for it. But we will also agree that in some cases, when we have these different numbers of subjects to be written, all done successively within a week, you can imagine the strength of the student, when the student will have to study a subject, write it, and then the following day will have another subject. But
Mr. Atta Asante, who is Kumasi's Metro Director of Education, touches on teaching materials and logistic supplies.
And we have evidence and data that most of these basic schools have deficit in the supply of furniture. When we talk of furniture, we mean the desks on which the mono and then the dual that they sit on. to a large extent, you always notice that in some cases, a dual desk that is meant for 2 students or pupils will have 4 of them seated on it. And that is a great inconvenience to the classroom, to the students as far as the classroom atmosphere is concerned. And then, and so we are pleading with the government to update this supply of furniture to the schools. And that is exactly what we also have a situation where the preschool education, that is the KG, in most of the new schools that are being constructed, they do it without recourse to the construction of these basic KG schools attached to it. And we know that in the 2008 educational reforms, preschools have become part of it and have been made as one of the mainstreams of education system that we had.
Away from education, the Believers' House of Worship, led by Reverend Abraham Lamte, was summoned to court over a suit challenging their ownership of the land some 5 months ago. The church responded to the suit, which started a legal determination of the rightful owner of the land. Due to the land dispute, assailants on Monday torched the church. The police has promised to protect church members as they continue services in the band structure. Assistant Public Relations Officer of the Greater Accra Regional Police, Sergeant DANSO, spoke earlier on News Desk.
I can confirm to you that the police is trying to unravel the brain behind that particular incident. For now, the police preliminary investigation disclosed that the piece of land on which the church is cited is subject of litigation. As a result of that, people who are connected with the litigation has been invited. That is what I can say. And for now, we are keeping an eye on the crime scene. So that is what the police has done so far.
Now, this has happened before, according to the pastor himself and some other church members. In the past, what investigations have you done about this?
Well, I am not privy to what he is saying, but what I can assure him is that this time around, the police will do everything possible to bring those perpetrators to book. He should keep, I will assure him that he should keep calm. He shouldn't take the law into his own now. The police will do everything to bring those perpetrators to book.
Did the police investigate the previous incidents?
Well, I can't speak to that. What happened yesterday is what I'm speaking to police.
Now, it was reported that the persons who burned the building yesterday were in NPP colors. Have you been looking into this?
Well, all these things will be part of the investigation the police will be doing. So we should just keep our hands crossed and wait for the police investigations.
Now, you mentioned that you have invited the other party in the land dispute. Is that person suspected in any way?
Well, we believe that as a result of the litigation, that is why some of these things are showing up. That is why the police has invited other parties to the land litigation to come for further investigation.
But apart from that person, have any arrests been made?
We've not arrested any person yet, but with time, we'll have, those who are connected with the crime will be arrested.
We are told that the church members are still meeting at that same premises. Will the police consider protecting them?
Yes, the police will see a way of getting security for them.
Well, Maxwell Agbagba was at the church this morning and spoke to some church members who are of the opinion this is the will of God.
How do you feel about this? Yesterday when you heard the news that the place where you usually worship has been set ablaze by some thugs, how did you feel about it?
As human as I am, I was so down about it. But later on when we came to see the whole thing, we gave thanks to God. Because the Bible says in everything you should give thanks to Him. Okay. So we thank God for whatever has happened. And even as that yesterday, we were tasked as pastors and deacons of the church to fast. So we know God's hands was in it. Because none of the people working here got hurt. We heard one of the guys chase the foreman. The foreman. Yeah. And God being so good, he wasn't shot. So we know God's hand is in it. I see this as a blessing in disguise. Yes. Okay. Yes. Because to tell you, building a church is not an easy thing. We've invested so much. And we don't even, as at this stage, we don't even have money to go out to publicize to people that we've moved from our old place to this place. So even as the devil thinks is trying to do something to bring us down, in God's own way, He's advertised us, because this is viral. It's all over, on Facebook, WhatsApp, on TVs, radio, and people are even knowing that we've moved to a new place. It's letting people to know that we have moved to a new place.
You think that is blessing and everything?
I'm telling you, God has His own way of doing His things. Because just last week, the women went on a camp meeting, and we came on Sunday, and then we are fasting as well, and this has happened. So God has His own way of doing things. And I was believing, I feel like God doesn't want us to use the old things we're using at the old place we've brought here. So He wants to have His own way to clear off those old things and then bring us new things.
With me here, Kasim Shaw. Kasim is actually the contractor here working on this project. As you know, the church building has not been completed, so he's the one working, making sure that he completes, the church building, which was set ablaze yesterday. Let's speak to Kasim Shaw. Let's find out from him. What he came to meet yesterday when he came to the scene. Kasim, what did you see when you came here yesterday?
Actually, I was going to buy cement. I left the side like 3 minutes to the roadside. And I had a call from my foreman that people has attacked the church and it's fire. So within a minute, I was back because I was not far. So when I came back, all this place was in fire. So we tried, me and my boys, and some neighbors came to help us to put it off. Whilst I made a call to fire service to intervene, when they came, everything was already in control. So they take the statement, then later on we went to federal police who's concerned for...
You told me that this is the third time this is happening.
Yes, this is the third time. Last year, they were using NDC cars. They came... that one I was here, so they attacked me personally, but they only damaged few walls. They break some wood we were using. The second, early this year, 3 months ago, they came with the same car but branded as MPP.
Let me just say that we cannot independently verify these claims, but you said last year was NDC branded, yes. And then this year?
MPP.
Okay.
Then I was not around. Also the same thing. Normally I come in the morning, then later on I check on the boys and I leave to other sites. Okay. The same thing, we had a storeroom at the entrance. You can see there is some evidence, some plywood. We had plywood worthy over 70,000. All was burned. And some others, they took the boys' phones, money, They beat up the foreman. There was a lot of nonsense, and they left. This time around, this is what you can see, the damage.
Meanwhile, head pastor of the Believers' House of Worship, Reverend Abraham Lamte, said they'll continue to pursue the case in court.
Well, it's in the hands of the police. So I believe strongly they will do a wonderful work, they will do a wonderful job, and they will be caught. We need to get the face behind all this, you know.
What would you be willing to take the matter to court yourself if this face behind it is discovered?
Sure, I will. I will. You know, we don't have to spiritualize everything. You know, the right thing has to be done. So yes, we will. We'll seek the advice of our lawyers, and what they tell us to do, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Now, we understand that this is not the first time that something like this has happened in your church. Do you feel threatened now that this incident has occurred?
Threatened, no, but disturbed if we no longer have regard to the laws governing the nation. Then we all have to wake up. If anybody can get up and do what they like, then we have to get up and put things right.
But say, if this has been happening for a while, why then do you go back to that site?
Well, we were there. Their mission is for us to stop. When we stop, they would have won. So we'll keep working. We keep serving our God. We keep doing what the Lord wants us to do.
Are your items insured, the items you lost?
Well, they burnt everything. I mean, everything burnt too much. But what they burnt were the material things, not our God. So we'll still be worshiping our God.
Have you insured these items that they burnt?
You know, with the items, no. And the site, no, because it's like a project that is going on. It is an ongoing project. We haven't finished yet. So we're waiting to finish, and then we're bringing the insurance, and then we take that step. So for now, I'll tell you, no, we've not insured anything.
So where will your church be meeting this Sunday?
Well, we're having service right this morning, and if you pass by, you will see we are meeting right at the premises. There is a space next to the auditorium they came to bed. We are meeting right there under canopy.
Right next to the ashes?
Yeah. The laws are not for any political party. So let's not say because they came in a politically branded vehicle, then it is NPP or NDC. The laws are for Ghana. And if we don't let the laws work, we will have a problem. All I'll say is we should all come together and let the law work.
We'll bring you updates on the story as and when they are available. Away from that, an Accra Circuit Court has sentenced 3 persons accused of robbing founder of the Ghana Freedom Party, GFP, Madam Akua Donkor, to a total of 60 years in prison. Yakubu Yusuf, GFP Central Regional Chairman, Barnabas Kayase, her personal driver, and Abdul Razak Shaibu were dragged to the court after a complaint was made to the police that they had on December 30, 2016 robbed her of $30,000 while on her way to the airport. All 3 pleaded not guilty to the charges of conspiracy to rob and robbery. Delivering the court's decision, Justice Abuaje Tano said the testimonies of the accused persons given to the court was full of half-truths and contradictions, leaving the court with no conclusion than to find them guilty. On December 30, 2016, Madam Donkor, in the company of Yusuf and Kayase, who was driving, was in the car from Taifa to the Kotoka International Airport to catch a flight to the United States. Now, prosecution explained that Madam Donkor decided to make a stopover at her house before heading for the airport. On reaching Sotom, Shaibu Joe and Nyama, armed with guns, appeared on a motorbike behind the vehicle. As soon as Kayase spotted the armed men, he reduced the speed of the car and switched on double hazard to signal that Madam Donkor was in the car, it said. Now, it added that Kayase immediately parked the car and Shaibu Joe and Nyama attacked Madam Donkor. The robbers dragged Madam Donkor from the vehicle and snatched her traveling bag containing $30,000, a plane ticket, a Ghanaian passport, a voter's ID card, and 2,000 Ghana cedis and escaped, the prosecution stated. Now, they are each to serve 20 years for each count to run concurrently. They are also to refund the remainder of the money yet to be retrieved by the police. This is Joy News Today. We'll take a quick breather. We'll bring you more. Please stay with us. Really grateful that you stayed here on Joy News Today. Now, the KAKUM National Park in Cape Coast is undoubtedly one of the best in the country. A thick rainforest with a lot to make visitors experience nature. But that glory will always be overshadowed by the poor stretch of road leading to the facility. Armed with his iPhone, Joy News' features editor, Fifi Kumson, joined a number of local tourists on a visit to KAKUM for the first time and now reports.
Rich, green vegetation, a lot of flora and fauna in a national park. The canopy walkway, built into the tree trunks, about 130 feet high, is all you need to make your day at KAKUM. There are 10 of these hanging bridges. A walk on any of these requires a lot of courage and perseverance. Yeah. It's always jubilation when you're able to finish this walk in the sky. Okay.
Can I say it here? Yeah, I did the
okay.
In your face.
Awesome. Okay, but weren't you scared walking on this high?
I was a little scared, but then we survived. I got motivated.
Okay.
You motivated me.
And you motivated me at the same time.
So, how was the experience for you?
Nice.
Nice?
Yeah, it was really great.
Okay.
To see a rainforest.
Okay.
Because I've never seen a rainforest before.
My name is Kate. The canopy walk was good. It was really good. I was scared initially, but I did it. I did the long route, and that was wonderful.
But there's an ugly side. It's the ugly truth. The road leading to KAKUM is perhaps one of the worst stretches leading to any tourist site in Ghana. A good portion of the 69-kilometer road is in bad shape, riddled with potholes and gullies. A drive on it is not at all exciting. Tell me about the road leading to this place.
Terrible. I wanted to go back, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. But I think the government should do something about it because this is a tourist site, so they really should do something about it.
Was the road good for you?
Oh yeah, the road was, it was a nice experience here to drive on this road with no asphalt. Yeah.
And this is a big worry. The park receives over 300,000 visitors annually, with revenue collection sometimes close to 400 million Ghana cedis. Today, revenue collection has begun declining as a result of the situation. This media report is not the first to be done about this awful spectacle, and it may never be the last. Fifi Kumson, KAKUM National Park, Cape Coast.